If anyone were to ask me what was my favorite X-Men series, my answer, of course, would have to be, obviously, Evolution. I was born in the late 90s and I grew up with it. And of course, I fell in love with Rogue, because who wouldn't? Yeah, stealing was bad and paying someone a compliment is good. Now, as for Charles Xavier and Magnus, or Eric, they're, of course, good and bad. Now, keep this in mind. As a child, it never occurred to me when I was a child that Magnus was in the right all this time. Now, I'm not saying that he was right like all the time, even though I just said it. I'm saying like he was right, but his actions were kind of, a little too far. For example, the X-Men Last Stand movie, where he wanted a child to be, out of the picture so that there would be no cure for mutants. So yeah, Eric wants a war with the humans. As for Charles Xavier, he just wants peace with the humans. He's not interested in war and bloodshed. If there's a war, he loses some of his family. He sees his students as family, his closest friends, his allies, stuff like that, and he also loses his human allies. Now, getting to my point. I never thought I would do something like this. I told myself to never do it. But I watched X-Men 97. It's kind of hard to express how I feel. I'm not really used to doing that. But the graphics were good. The characters were awesome, especially Storm. And of course, Madeline Pryor, especially when she was the Goblin Queen. The reason why I didn't watch it was because I was kind of spoiled on TikTok about my favorite couple, of course, Gambit and Rogue, and you can kind of understand where I'm going with this. But yeah, I'm done with season 1. I had to skip the parts where Rogue and Magneto were just... Now, before you get it twisted, I'm aware that Rogue and Magneto were a couple in the what was it, the early X-Men comics? I think it was. I don't exactly know. I just know it was the Savage Land. Yeah, it was the Savage Ages. Yeah, it was from Gambit's Nightmare. So, yeah. I love Gambit so much. He's my baby. I just wanted Rogue and Gambit to be happy forever and ever. Who knows, that might happen in season 2, but fingers crossed. More to the point, though, back to Magneto and Charles Xavier. Charles is all about peace and harmony. Magnus is all about war, and he knows that humans will never accept mutants. And it proves as much because of what happened to Storm, how she was shot and lost all her powers. Now, despite Magnus being this crazed psychopath, as I thought he was when I was a child, he is not a crazy psychopath. He's just, I want to say misguided, but that sounds wrong. My favorite part of X-Men 97 was when he took the politicians to the space. and told him, like, hey, Charles students, his mutant students protect you and all the other humans with their powers from absolute death, car accidents, fire burning buildings, and you have the gall to hate them all over again. Like, what the heck? So yeah, my point is, no matter how you try to change yourself, no matter how successful you are, etc., society will always just see you the same way. Like, what can you do, you know? So at the end of the day, I'll just say it, Magneto was right. I understand why Charles wants a world where mutants and humans live in peace, but let's face it, when it comes to humans, they are scared of what they don't understand. They're ignorant. Both fictional and reality, they're ignorant. They're ignorant. They're not going to change for you. They're not going to try and they're not going to try and read a book about your race, is what I'm saying. They're not. Ignorance is bliss. They rather stay ignorant. They rather stay hateful. They rather let that hate consume them and turn them into monsters. That's just life, isn't it? So yeah, Magneto was right. Charles, he was right, but at the same time, there were no consequences of what happens when a human tries to go up against a mutant and kills that mutant, for example. So yeah, Magneto was right, and ignorance is bliss. Bye.